we learn this week, Keith, when we looked at the not just the cloud earnings, but particularly Dell and kind of the stage 2 style AI trades that the market really loved?
Yeah, people are really excited about NVIDIA and all of the sales channels of NVIDIA. And we learned that Dell is not NVIDIA. This is not necessarily a bad thing. Dell is a massive company. We sometimes forget this. In the previous segment, we talked about companies being able to execute in all different areas of their business outside of AI. But I wanted to highlight Dell's strong AI performance, specifically in the group that matters, ISG, which is the infrastructure group, which AI sits in. We forget Dell Technologies is still the world's largest enterprise storage company. Storage is still the big profit engine for Dell Technologies, and AI servers impacted that group with 22% year-over-year growth. So that's the part of the business that's growing the most. And Dell and partners still have the cannon fire left from the 5 client PCs that were announced as part of the Copilot AI play from Microsoft, Qualcomm. Really excited about that over the next couple of quarters to see if that CSG client solutions group catches up with ISG when it comes to overall growth.
Because that client solution is still a big part of the business, but that's been the one that's dragging, to your point. When we think about the personal devices and stuff, that's been somewhat dead in the water for a couple quarters. But I guess the idea here is you might be able to ramp that up too if you start plugging more AI into the computers, right?
That's the idea. And Dell is going big. 5 client devices in one release, all aimed around this AI strategy and including productivity. We could talk a little bit about how Dell has been drinking their own champagne when it comes to implementing AI in their business and showing the way. We're still very early AI, and a lot of the follow-on effect from growth around actually implementing the technologies within large corporations, which Dell is leading the way in their own organization. When that takes effect, I'm pretty excited about the future of Dell Technologies.
When you look at kind of what will move the needle as far as surprise goes, Keith, the market seems to have real high expectations for the server build out connected to AI. What about that personal devices side? I mean, is that where there may be a little, bit of surprise where folks have kind of written that off in a way? What do you think is the most potential here for people to go, okay, maybe we didn't price that part in yet?
Yeah, we haven't gotten excited about client refreshes since the battles of the OS. We've kind of settled in as consumers. It's Windows, it's Mac OS, and then there's nothing else. And the companies have kind of decoupled around the OS upgrade. There hasn't been a lot of reason to upgrade personal devices in the past. AI requires much different compute than most of the client devices that we have sitting in front of us today, especially on the laptop and personal device side. So if there's a compelling reason enough, if Microsoft's Copilot capabilities, 22-hour battery life coming out of a Windows machine, if these things are compelling enough, I expect a big refresh push on the client device side.
What do you think those products might look like? I mean, do we need to expect like a totally different experience in these machines? I feel like our imagination could run wild, but we haven't really seen much of it yet,
Yeah, I think form factor is going to look very much the same. Matter of fact, I just placed the order for a Dell SPS 13. It looks very much like the Dell SPS 13 that we see today in most enterprises and most homes, this high-end device. They have on the lower end the Inspiron, these names that we know, trust, and already have in front of us. The experience itself is just going to be different from just a battery life perspective. Today, we might get 7-8 hours of battery life out of the same devices. Being able to get Mac-type battery life, or better than Mac OS-type battery life, going into 15, 16, 20 hours of battery life. I can now fly from here to Europe without plugging up is a big deal from these corporate users.
True. Can they do this while still maintaining the margins? The kind of last point is it seemed like that was one of the areas the market had some issue with. It took a little hit on the margin, which you could argue if you're going to grow and bring all these new products, it costs a little bit, fine. But market can also, give and take it, then punish if you're spending too much to get these initiatives off the ground.
Yeah, hardware margins have historically never been great. Services, software is where, the margin comes from. And Dell is seeding the market with a lot of AI chips, a lot of these 9860 servers that can hold 8 GPUs. But the bottom line is there's not enough talent to implement the technology whether we're talking client devices and new applications running on those client devices, or we're talking about the servers. And a lot of the learnings, Dell is leading the way from helping enterprises with a new type of digital transformation that they're not accustomed to. There's going to be a need for higher end value, and Dell is positioning itself to be kind of both a kingmaker and kind of making hay themselves on not just hardware sales, but services as well.
All right, sounds like you got some confidence that maybe this is just a blip along the way. So we'll follow up in time. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate your take.